We may just have a world record holder here tonight. Yes, in the cooking world. I don't know how anybody cooks continuously for 40 hours, but that's what our young guest did recently, and you'll meet him coming up here on My State of Mind. It is a pleasure to have you aboard. Thank God it's Friday. It has been a week. Woo! But it does feel like spring out there. And pardon me if I start to go like this because it's hot in the studio. But let's go because we got a lot of hot issues going on here. This is just as perplexing and dumb and embarrassing for everybody, even people who are analyzing it. But we must. This is as plain as the nose on your face and mine as to what to do, and our new leadership don't seem to understand what they got to do for it. Next item is the idea that we have kind of a poignant moment in a very, very tragic event that happened in Boston this week, and kind of a nice touch. This is the governor of New Jersey just not putting it together right, and this is kind of a celebration for me and hopes for Providence College because they too are in the hunt. It's not just the round ball, you know. Alrighty, let's go and let's get this thing done. All right, we're off and running. Yeah, this Prius drama is just unbelievable. So here, this is Clay Pell, and Michelle Kwan and the car. First, well, it was reported stolen in late February, and then we found out after the car report that it was stolen that previously Clay Pell had lost his car in December and found it a day later. I can't get into all the details here, but anyway, they found the car. Where's the headline? Let's see. What does that say there? It says Kwan's missing Prius found in North Providence. So you think, okay, fine. Well, it turns out that it's not just as clean as a whistle. I guess we've got a couple of lines on the story that the Providence Journal wrote on this. It's been confirmed that her Prius has been found. It turned up in North Providence. No word on the hockey stick that Wayne Gretzky signed that was, I guess, in the back of the vehicle. Now, I hear from Jim Hummel, investigator, that he found out that on March 3rd, Clay Pell had been at a Democratic Town Committee event in North Providence at a restaurant only a few strides down from where this apartment complex is on Josephine Street where the car was found, which may be just a pure coincidence because he reported it stolen prior to this event. That was one thing that came up on the radio today. But then as we were doing the show, our newsroom gave me this police report. And can I show you this is what it looks like. I mean, I don't expect you to read that, but that's a picture of a crumpled police report. But on the crumpled police report, here is the third paragraph. And listen to me now, this is very interesting. Written by the police officer who, responded to the report of the missing Prius. He writes, I conducted a follow-up investigation in the area. I made contact at 10 Josephine Street at the apartment with this witness that I won't name here, but his name is Mark. He states the following, the officer does in the report. Mark stated the vehicle belonged to an Asian female who lived at 12 Josephine. He did not know her name or her apartment number. What? So Steve Klampkin from our newsroom went down to check it out and found some people saying, yes, there is a woman who happens to be Asian who lives here in the apartment complex, but it's not Michelle Kwan. So the police have confirmed that the car is Michelle Kwan's. Some guy has told the police that it belongs to an Asian woman, but the witnesses that our reporter spoke to says, well, that's not Michelle Kwan. What is going on here? It looks like there's more to the story. I have nothing else for you. I wish I could, well, there's Michelle, and there's, Clay, and, it's the whole thing. And well, I think we got a picture of the car. And this is so strange. The bottom line here there it is. There's the car. That's good enough, Rox. Here's the thing. The bottom line here, this kid has got to start speaking about this can't find a car thing, maybe with a sense of humor, maybe not, but be transparent and clear. Because he's never going to lift this. I don't care if the NEA endorses him or pulls him into this race or what. This has got to be more communicable. He's got to say more. This is not going away. All people think about is the doggone car. Now, I don't know who won't. Oh, anyway, let's keep moving on. It's just so dumb. This is a bump in a leadership road. Target 12 filed this report, and it speaks to Joe Almeida, who is a state rep, long time from Providence, who has been made the deputy majority whip, but hasn't filed paperwork for some questions the Board of Elections has on his campaign financing for a long time. Great report by Walt.
A spokesman for the new House Speaker tells us Mattiello did not know about the campaign finance issues facing Joseph Almeida until Target 12 contacted his office. Providence Democrat Joseph Almeida was picked earlier this week by House Speaker Mattiello to be his deputy majority whip. The campaign finance issues surfaced in January, but according to the Board of Elections, Almeida's lack of reporting contributions dates back to the years between 2008 and 2012. Board of Elections records indicate Almeida did not provide explanations for just over $3,900 in checks made out to himself and cash. Almeida also did not report just under $8,200 in contributions, according to records, and just under $9,800 in expenditures. The newly elected deputy whip tells us he did not do anything illegal.
You know, as we do our records, they weren't kept properly, just from the sloppy paperwork that we did, and that's it in a nutshell.
But according to the Board of Elections, Almeida didn't even reply to a number of requests for bank records or requests for settlement discussions. A House spokesman tells us Mattiello did not know about the campaign finance issues until an email from Target 12. Larry Berman says he, as in the Speaker, was not aware. There will be no changes at this time, but Speaker Mattiello will address this with Almeida and require that he appropriately address this issue. An AG spokesperson tells us the matter is pending in that office. Almeida says the campaign finance issue should not change Mattiello's decision to add him to the new leadership team. A Board of Elections official tells us he has referred only a couple of cases to the Attorney General for prosecution over the last few years.
Joe, 18 months you don't respond to the Board of Elections. They throw it to the Attorney General's office. When you write cash to yourself, you've got to account for that. And what's really surprising is that the new House Speaker, fresh off last week's debacle with the House Speaker going out stage right doing an investigation and a raid, isn't smart enough to say, I can't deal with this. Joe, so sorry, you can't be my Speaker. I'm sorry, you can't be my majority whip or whatever the heck they made him. Where's the fresh start disposition here? I mean, you know, all due respect to Joe Almeida, he cannot be in leadership when this kind of report. If I'm the Speaker, I say, Joe, why didn't you tell me about this? You're at the AG's office. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, man. Nick Mattiello is going to be on this broadcast on Monday. Boy, do I have a bunch of questions for him. All right, next item. This is, you know, in times of just a terrible tragedy, this was kind of nice. I mean, today the firefighters got together and began a memorial for the two fallen brothers in the Back Bay fire a couple of nights ago. And, you know, it was nice. Turned out that there was a Twitter picture that was going around that you'll see here momentarily where Tom Brady, the star quarterback for the Patriots, living a couple of doors down, watched all of this. He spoke to sports radio in Boston about what he saw and what he was feeling.
We as athletes think that we're heroes, but when you witness firsthand, you know, what I saw yesterday, you realize who the real heroes are in this world, and that's, you know, the people that work hard to protect our lives and protect our safety and, you know, our freedoms in America, and certainly the firefighters and Boston police and the state troopers. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You know, Tom Brady's no more an important victim or witness than any of us. But when Tom Brady says the things he says publicly and pays homage to the firefighters, because of the way culture in America is today, I'm sure those firefighters felt good about it. And I think it was gracious, and it may have lessened the hurt just a little bit. Speaking of lessening the whatever, I mean, it is too close. Governor Christie, are you kidding me? Friendly lawyers put out the report on the bridge scandal. Here's Fox.
The internal investigation paid for by New Jersey Governor Chris Christie's office says he did not know. Lead lawyer Randy Mastro says no texts, emails, or phone records implicate him.
And there is not a shred of hard evidence that the governor did anything other than what he has publicly said, that he had no knowledge of the lane closures beforehand.
The report pins the blame on former Port Authority official David Wildstein. Quote, "It was Wildstein's idea, like so many other crazy ones he'd had before that never got off the ground." It says fired Christie Deputy Chief of Staff Bridget Ann Kelly carried it out.
You know, I got to tell you, I'm a fan of Chris Christie, okay? So I'm not doing any bashing here. But, Governor, having lawyers that you know well doing a report on this very important subject matter is not really going to resolve it for many Americans who are thinking about your candidacy for presidency, never mind the New Jersey constituents who are reviewing your work as governor. If you're going to have a report done, it should have been done by someone from across the country that you've never met. So while there's a lot of stuff in this report and it all goes to clearing the governor, it may not be worth the paper it's printed on over the course of a 2016 campaign. There'll be more to come, I'm sure. On a much lighter note, boy, I was scrambling this morning trying to get a plane out of here. To see the headlines or the pictures? What do we got here? Tree down, ready to go. That's my alma mater, baby. Not since 1984 have the Dayton Flyers made a regional final, and the Atlantic 10, of course, is the conference that URI plays in. You know what's funny? URI beat them badly here only a couple of months ago, and that's when the whole run started. So, thank Coach Hurley. We'll see. This is going to be kind of exciting. And I will tell you, while I couldn't get a plane out for tomorrow, this weekend, if they beat Florida, see ya. And finally, PC is in the show. No, not the basketball team that made the first round, but the hockey team. They're in the regional final. They got Quinnipiac as we speak. And they're only a couple opponents away from the Frozen Four. So, a lot of good stuff. When we come back, he cooked and cooked and cooked and cooked and cooked some more. Stay with us. You know, one of my favorite things is to talk to the young people, and this is a good one. We picked this one out in the news. Here was the headline a little while back. After 40 hours of cooking, Rhode Island high school senior hopes he set a world record. You crazy, man? Are you?
No, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Got to do something that probably no one's ever done before, you know. Well, a couple people did it, but I did it longer than everybody else.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ben Perry is my guest, and you're at the Met School.
Yep, Met School in Providence.
And live in Smithfield.
Live in Smithfield,
Go
yeah.
to the Met School. What do you want to do when you grow up?
I probably want to be working in a kitchen, a French-American restaurant, executive chef.
Oh,
yeah.
You got the whole thing figured out
I got
already.
the whole thing, yeah.
So were you going to pursue Johnson & Wales, that kind of thing?
Johnson Wales I got accepted to, and I also got accepted to Cambridge School of Culinary Arts in Boston. So,
okay. All right, so tell me the story. Once upon a time you decided to try to bite off a Guinness World Record. How's that?
So you start off by applying for the record, and I got it, and then you have to pick a date.
How do you apply? You write to them?
No, you just go on there online, and then you just put in you want to do this record, and then you get a claim number, and then every question you have to keep asking them, because if you, let's just say I'm not allowed to do that and I do it at the thing, you get disqualified. So you got to make sure that everything's not wrong, really right. Yeah.
Okay, so you tell them what you want to do,
mm-hmm.
and they have like a criteria?
Yeah. Yep, a lot of rules.
Okay, so what were the rules? Well, anyway, what was the record? The record was 36 and a half hours?
36 and a half hours, and I went for 40.
Of continuously cooking?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the detail? What determines that you're continuously cooking?
Two things have to be going at the same time. So at all times I had barbecue pork. It takes about 8 hours to cook, so I had that going all the time. So I never had I had one thing going no matter what. Then I'd be doing something else. So I'd be chopping up chicken, I'd be pulling chicken, I'd be cutting vegetables, potatoes, making pasta, all kinds of things.
Okay, so as long as you had the pork in the skillet, And you were standing behind it, right? Did you have to stay there?
I had to stay there, yeah. I had to be standing or sitting. I had a stool I could sit on, but I had to be doing something.
So they gave you kind of a spec sheet as to how you had it. It didn't matter what you cooked.
Doesn't matter what I cooked.
Just that you had to keep cooking.
Doesn't even have to taste good as long as you're just cooking.
It's just so funny.
Yeah.
What made you want to do this?
Like I said, I go to the Met School, and what we do is senior projects, and I wanted to do something that really made me, people would notice what I did. So I decided something on the lines of like Guinness, or there was like some other things, just donating a lot of food. And then I found that record, and I just went for it.
Well, that goes to, that solves a mystery for me, by the way, because the senior projects have driven me crazy with this whole, requirements for graduation. I'm just trying to get my hands around what all these seniors have been doing for the last few years in terms of projects.
Yeah.
So that was yours.
That was mine.
You got an A, I'm guessing.
I did get an A on it,
If you don't get an A for standing around for 40 hours, then what the heck?
Yeah,
right?
I did do good on that.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the future. If he can break his own record again, what he actually made, and maybe we'll get a recipe or two out of this talented young man. Stay with us. So like I said, we'd love to talk to aspiring young people about what they're going to do in their lives, and when they do something cool, we'd like to bring some attention to it, whether it be academic or athletic, or in this particular case, academic, extracurricular combined.
Yeah.
Right? Because you want to be a chef, that is going to be your field of study, Ben. So when do you know when you're certified as a Guinness World Book of Records 40 hours in a row cooker?
Yeah, I had to send it to London. That's where they're stationed. And then they review it. So I think it takes about almost 2 months to do. So then they send it back, and then they tell me, okay, I did it or I didn't do it.
How long was the 36 and a half hour? By the way, if you just tuned in, Ben cooked for 40 straight hours, and there's a great story behind it. How long had the 36 and a half hour previous record stood? Not sure?
Not sure.
Because I'm just wondering whether or not, if there's a momentum thing, when people break a record and it gets identified, they go, oh, yeah, well, 40 and a half. And then you got to come back and go to 41. And that's a lot of standing around a skillet, man.
Yeah, I can imagine. It is, it's tough.
So you're not sure. You're not sure about that.
No.
Well, hey, listen, after you get certified, and you guess you will,
yeah,
then we'll see. It's like, hey, all comers.
Yeah, really.
Right. The nice part about this was, A, your mom was there with you the whole time.
Yeah.
She's here today. And B, you donated all the food.
I did.
Tell me about that.
So the rule says that I have to cook food. It does not say how much. It does not say how little. So I decided that I was going to donate the food. At first, I didn't know how much I was going to donate, but then I asked the Amos House. So I said, how many people do you have? And they said it varies at the end of the month or the beginning of the month. And they said it's about 200 people per meal. So I did that for 2 days for the Amos House. 1 day I did it for the House of Hope. But the House of Hope, I think, had a little more people. So
you cooked for all those folks?
Yeah.
So you weren't, this was no phony deal. It's not
No.
like you were sitting around going, I just got a little pork over here, I'm going to stand here for you. You put out the goods.
Yeah.
Did you get any feedback on whether they liked it?
I never got to, I didn't go, of course, to deliver the food, but my dad and my brother and I think some other people did, and they said that it came out good. They liked it, which is good.
All right, but there was secondary, so that's a bonus.
Yeah.
So at Johnson & Wales and or wherever you decide to go, and you know exactly what kind of a chef you want to be, I can tell that you're going to be a successful chef because you're such a personality that, that's part of it, isn't it? Talking to people about whether they like what you have, and when a chef comes out and sees you in the restaurant and checks in with you, it means a lot. So that whole part of it's important, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
This senior project and getting an A on it is part of your graduation requirement. The med school where you are educated is kind of a unique place. Give me 30 seconds on that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you go in there freshman year, and I stay with the same teacher for 4 years. So I've had, my teacher's name's Dave. I've had him for 4 years now, and I've been with pretty much the same group for the last 4 years. But what we do is internships. So I've had a lot of internships. I've done North Bay Manor. I've done Chili's. I've done Red Stripe. I've done, there's a couple more Stevie B's. I've done Panfilio's. I've done a couple internships now. So I've done, I've got to see all the kinds of ones, fancier ones, catering, nursing home style. So there's all kinds I've got to see. And in between, all my learning is based on culinary arts.
You enjoy it there.
Love it. Yeah, it's a good school.
What the kids say about you trying to break this record?
You know, the Met School is really crazy because, like, my friend, she started her own business. So, like, something like these kind of things is not very uncommon, but I did get a good reaction from it.
So for those who think that, you know, education is not creative enough in America and Rhode Island today, the Met School certainly is breaking that mold, isn't it?
Yeah, they do a great job at that.
All right. So what is your, give me a less than a minute cooking tip. Anything that people ought to know about out there? One of your favorite little nuances or expertise you've developed?
You know, the basics of culinary arts is always good, like learning how the right way to cut, because I remember I was not fully awake, but if you keep your hands like a claw, you'll never cut your hand, which is really good because I wasn't awake the whole time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Keep your hands like a claw and you'll never get hurt.
Yeah.
See, not only did you break a record, but you gave us something.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
When you get certified, let us know.
Thank you.
So
I will.
we can run the clock on holding the world record. And good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Pretty good, huh? Your state of mind when we come back. Stay with us. So, isn't that cool when young people do something really good? I love having the kids on this show. So if you've got an idea or somebody we need to meet, in addition to the politics of the day and the tough stuff of the day, give us a ring. You know, we'll use your voicemail on the air, but if it's just a message for a guest or something, don't worry about that. 228-1886, state of mind at myratv.com. Email us an idea or tweet or Facebook post. Here's a reaction, I believe, on Twitter. I appreciate how John Marion and I challenged all of us in Rhode Island to change reality and image of corruption in our state. That comes from Professor Kennedy from Brown, who was a former guest on the program, talking about this guest on the program last night, John Marion, as we talked about economic development needing to be caused or improved by a better behavioral environment around here. I got to go. It's Friday night, and I'll see you Monday at 7:30 with the new speaker. Bye.